Well, thank you for joining us today, guys, on the third episode of the PanzerCast. Thank you very much.
Excellent, man.
Yeah.
Happy to be here. Happy to be here.
Yes, it is a pleasure.
Yeah. This series was not supposed to become a series. Actually, it was just a one-off podcast initially. But then I thought it was a good idea, a good way to give the microphone to the Panzer Dragoon fans. So we are very happy to have you, and I think the fans are happy to listen to other fans to explain what they like in the series. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about you, what you do, about maybe your channel, and what you like in the Panzer Dragoon series.
Sounds great. Stikz, you want to go first?
I go by the name of Stikz. We are level 857. You can find us on YouTube and all social media under level 857 or level 857 games. And we have a channel that is mostly, we do a podcast every Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. But you can, watch it anywhere in the world, which is great about YouTube. But we also have, we focus our channel on co-op games, mostly. So you'll see, indie games and co-op games, and, you can elaborate if you'd like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're a 5-person multiplayer crew, so the channel, it represents a lot of let's play co-ops, let's play versus. We do competitive gaming also with each other and also online, when we go with games like Smash Brothers, Dragon Ball Fighter Z, things like that. But yeah, we're multiplayer-centric, co-op-centric channel. We show some love to the indies. We've been gaming for a while. We got a lot of love for Sega, a lot of love for Nintendo since the early NES days, Sega Master System days.
A lot of retro love.
Exactly. So, the vibe that we have with the channel and the podcast is that, we get as nerdy and as geeky as the geekiest gamers out there, but we're also cool and chill at the same time. So we keep that balance really, really well. And, it's easily displayed on the podcast.
Yeah, it's the kind of vibe that I got when I heard you do this interview of Benjamin. So I wanted to have you on the podcast, and thank you for joining today.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was a great guest. Yeah, absolutely.
So it seems that you guys have a special love for the Panzer Dragoon series. So why don't you explain us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. The Panzer Dragoon series, it's during the SEGA Saturn is when I discovered the Panzer Dragoon series. It was Panzer Dragoon. It was on a demo. I think Bug was also an early SEGA Saturn game that was on the same demo. But when we got the Panzer Dragoon, it was just like, okay, like this was cool because, you had Star Fox 64, which is an on-rail shooter. That was really good. Panzer Dragoon was on-rail shooting, but it was, I like the multi-lock on. I like being able to be the rider on top, shoot the targets that are coming at you. But I like how you had to, since it was 3D, you kind of had to look around. You didn't really do that in the Star Fox series. Like look to the side of you, looking back at you and stuff like that. Everything was kind of like in front. But in Panzer Dragoon, you got to be aware of everything that's going around you. And I just liked the music. It instantly hooked me. I liked the lore of the series. It just always seemed like it was, I like those stories where it was like, you're looking at like an ancient civilization and they had a sophisticated technology, probably destroyed themselves. And then, people dig it up again and try to use it and become corrupt and stuff. And the dragon was always kind of like the savior, kind of like stopping people from using that technology, when they got too powerful and stuff. So I kind of, every game kept getting better too. And it was just an easy series to get interested about. And when the Sega Saturn, when that died, you just didn't really hear about it again until Panzer Dragoon, what was it, Order, I think, for Xbox, which I thought was an excellent game too. But then, this Panzer Dragoon, Jet Grind Radio, those are just like legendary series that just seem to die after the Xbox and stuff. And luckily started making a resurgence right now, which is awesome.
Well, before you get into all the what happened after, let me explain how I got introduced to Panzer Dragoon. So, I don't know much about it. No, I'm playing. So, I first heard about Panzer Dragoon when I rented the Japanese Sega Saturn, and that was before it even came out over here.
So you got before me.
I rented 3 games with it. I got Virtua Fighter, which was so on the Saturn. And what was it? It was a Stall, which was awesome. That was a 2D game. And
Stall's
then
awesome.
you had Panzer Dragoon. I didn't know anything about it. I mean, other than what we saw in magazines, we saw pictures, and you can tell from the art design that it was something special before you even heard about it. Like, just if you just saw a picture of it, it just didn't look like anything that you've seen, especially at that time. So you turn it on. And at first I started with Virtua Fighter, of course, and then I was like, it was kind of messy. So I was like, the Saturn isn't all it's cracked up to be. Let's see what these other games are like. So, like I said, once I saw the other games and then Panzer, that won me over. I mean, it was never a powerhouse system for 3D games, and it was still an introductory to 3D, so we didn't really know what it was supposed to look like. But whenever you have an artistic style that is greater than graphics, as you could say, like, that's the magic of it. It didn't need to look amazing as it did, as far as graphic wise, like polygons, but you can tell the design is in there. That's why I designed, games that are designed well will always gracefully age better than something like that was just a block here with eyes on it or something like that. That's bad design, but not in this. And then once I turned it on, once you hear that music, especially CD-based music, the music in this game, especially coming from like cartridges and like hearing a CD-based music after hearing like synth keyboards, like this was a major undertaking, and that's what drew me into the game to begin with. Because the second you hit the button, just the horns that you hear, it's not something that you heard on anything. And then once you hear the orchestrated music, once you're over the water and everything, and just the world that it just brings you into right there, that's what's amazing about Panzer Dragoon. And that's something you will never forget. And all the fans of Panzer had that same feeling.
Yeah.
So, it's an on-rail shooter. I mean, I'm a big fan of on-rail shooters. I know a lot of people aren't. Yeah. We had light gun shooters and everything. We didn't have much of a game like this that was on rails other than light gun games. Yeah. But, like you said, the lore and the way that, you were brought into this world with the full motion video and everything. I mean, it was, if you look back at it now, the original full motion video is, it's a little.
I like the way the remake cleaned it up.
They did clean it up. It was very, very grainy. They came from Sega CD times. So if you're not playing crisscross or like all those full motion games on there, I mean, looking at what those little, they had like a little box and on TV. Well, I mean, TVs back then weren't that big either, but now, it's bad. But just like I said, the design of it and the world that it brought you in with that music and everything really made you fall in love with the world so much more than just the game itself. But the game itself did enough to keep us talking about it even now.
Absolutely.
They had to do something right?
I agree.
All right. So that's my introduction to Panzer.
Well, that's impressive, because you guys have discovered the Panzer Dragoon series much before myself, because you played Kevin, the game, initially in '95 when it released.
Yeah.
And Stikz, you said you even played it when you imported the Japanese Saturn, right?
As an import, yep.
Yeah. It shows you were passionate at the time, because I don't know about the US, but in Europe it was the Saturn was not very popular.
Oh, Saturn was not popular here either. At 400 bucks. Like, it was expensive.
It was expensive, and I don't even know what the install base was. The install, how much they sold. Not that much. It was low though. Very low.
Yeah,
it was more of a PlayStation day over here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So you guys played the original game immediately when it was available for you, and so you were hooked to the series. What did you do after that? Did you play the sequel, or did you wait later? Did you discover Spy later, or?
I played after the first one. We played that one. After playing the demo, I was like, okay, we're gonna buy this. We're buying this. We bought it. I beat Panzer 1. As soon as the second one came out, we played that to death, because that was the first one that had the Pandora's box, which allowed you to, it had a whole bunch of different gameplay features you were able to turn on and stuff like that. You were able to use different dragons, your dragon morphed. Like the second one amped everything the first one did. It was longer, had branching paths. And it just I think it was a prequel too. So I believe the protagonist of the second one was the guy who gets shot through the heart in the beginning of the first one. I think that's what I'm guessing. Like that's the same.
No, it's not. No, it's not the same.
They're not the same.
No.
I don't think so. Hold on. So the boy. All right. So in Panzer Dragoon, the boy who discovers Laggy, right? That dragon.
His name is Jean-Jacques Lindy. Yeah.
Okay, that's the name. All right, that's the protagonist. He's not the rider that gets shot at the beginning of Panzer Dragoon 1. They're not the same.
The writer?
Well, the rider.
The writer. No, it's not the same. It's edgy. It's a different character.
But the guy who dies, right? Like Panzer Dragoon 1, right? The guy who fights the Black Dragon. He gets shot through the heart. He touches down. He kind of telepathically tells the protagonist of part 1 that what this Black Dragon's going to be doing if he makes it to whatever, that pyramid or whatever like that. That wasn't so okay. So the guy that died.
No, there's no official. We don't know much about this guy.
We don't know. Okay.
But as far as I know, it's not the same guy.
It's not the same guy, but they do say that 2 is a prequel to 1, though, right? Yeah. They do say, okay, but we don't know if it's the same writer or not. I wonder. My hunch is that they might be the same. Yeah, my hunch is that might be the same. We'll find out, though.
And fan fiction, maybe.
I mean, in Saga, there is you discover a little bit more about this writer from Spy, and he has a whole story. He creates, if I remember correctly, he creates a tribe. And he doesn't have a dragon anymore, so I don't see how we would be the guy in the first Panzer Dragoon after that,
I got to play Saga again and really talk to everybody in the towns. That's what I got to do. But yeah, after 2 was amazing, much better than 1. And then Saga,
Before you get into Saga, let me talk about...
All right, you talk about 2. Yes, all right, go ahead. You go.
So, let me talk about Zwei. I called it Zwei forever. Yeah, I called the Panzer Dragoon Zwei forever because we didn't know how to pronounce it at all. Apparently, we were wrong.
We pronounced a lot of games wrong.
Of course. If you had magazines.
It's how you know the game in the US. So, I mean, there is no wrong or right. It's just, I know it's a German word. So, as I live by the German border, I call it Zwei, but you can call it Zwei. It's all right.
It's Zwei. We'll call it what it is. But not only did the game evolve, but your dragon evolved. That's what made it different. So you started with the little baby, with the little symbol on his throat or whatever. And what made it different, it kind of reminded me, when I saw this game, it kind of reminded me more of Star Wars because of when you were running through on foot, when you're running on the ground and you're going through the jungle and everything. It reminded me of the scenes in Star Wars when you're on that little...
Oh, that's right, because sometimes you're on the ground for a bit before you start flying. Yeah.
But that's how they made it different. And damn sure they made it a lot different because it was a lot smoother and they improved on everything. The first one's the first one. It's like a test. And now they really fine-tuned it in part 2. Or prequel, if you want to call it. Not 2. But
but it's 2. It's Panzer Dragoon 2's why, right?
Yeah. But it was hard. That game was hard to play. It was hard to beat. It wasn't easy.
Panzer Dragoon, none of them are easy. None of them. You go to Saga Order, first one, none of them are easy. They're not easy.
Saga is rather on the easy.
You think so? It's easier to beat probably that one than it is the shooters, But
it's funny because they're not even that long. The games aren't that long.
Neither is the RPG. RPG's not that long either.
Really?
Yeah, it's probably it's got to be between 10 and 20 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. But the shooters were not that long either. So, and that's good. I like digestible content. Something I could beat in a day or beat in a couple of days and I'm straight. So I never had to complain about the length.
Well, they improved the graphics. They improved the gameplay as far as what you can do with the dragon and the super moves and all that stuff. It's very, very cool. And that should have it should have done more to escalate what the Saturn can do, or, for sales at least. But it still didn't move anything for Saturn, really. No one really knows about Panzer Dragoon. It's still a low key title, but like I said, the people who did play it have a special place for it.
The thing I like about the Panzer community is that they're passionate, man.
But that's a Sega community also.
Yeah.
There's probably other titles from Sega that the Panzer community loves also. But that's just a Sega thing. That's the heart. That's the heart of a Sega fan right there, because there's other titles and there's so many franchises that we want to see this happen with. And what's cool about now is that they, before we even go into Saga, they announced, and they have recently had a resurgence of Panzer Dragoon. So they announced part 1. Well, what was it? Forever Entertainment. Ben, the guy, we call him Ben Awesome, the guy we interviewed. He announced part 1 and part 2. And part 1 just came out, and everyone in the community is high off this release because this is amazing. Because we've had Panzer Dragoon come out, like the remaster for PlayStation 2 and stuff like that, or you've had it like as an extra game in Panzer Dragoon Orta for the Xbox and stuff like that. It was on a disc, but this is the first one where some care has been given to it to make it, a new experience for people who haven't heard about Panzer or only heard the legend of Panzer Dragoon. So I kind of wish that a little more time was given to this title and a little more media hype for it to let people know what this exactly was. So like a lot more commercials and stuff like that for marketing. I think
it's so past expectations at the very least.
I do understand that, but I think that them saying a release date kind of hindered the release of it. I wish that even on our interview, he said, still coming at the end of winter, in the winter. I think if they said spring or 2020, it would have gave them an easier time. And I think if they were to announce something like that for part 2, don't announce a date. Just bring it out when it's actually done, because I think they're pressured to bring it out early because of the time constraints that they gave to everybody online. And the community is great and all, but once they got that date in their head, the community was like, okay, there's only a week left. It has to come out now. You guys said winter, and we're excited, but that excitement could lead to something being not done yet and not cooked enough to bring out. So I think that they fell for that a little bit under the pressure, and it came out maybe a month or a month and a half too early than when it was ready. Because now what hurts, because this is a great release and they did a great job, but the initial reviews that everyone's going to see, this is what sucks about updates. The initial reviews that everyone sees is what is initially bought out. So everyone who said that this game is good but not great because of nitpicky things here and there, that's going to resonate now when you look back at this title at the ratings of it, which sucks because now they did have an update. They had 2 updates since the game.
And every update,
exceptional update. Yeah, that this is one of the best updates.
The last one was awesome. Yeah,
we can talk about the update if you want. We can talk about the update if you want, but or we can talk about it later after this. But
we'll see.
But it improved the game dramatically, and that sucks because if this came out the way it was, they said it's going to come out. The physical edition is going to come out with the patch already on it. So if you have the disc, it's going to be on there. So I can stop asking them. It's going to be. I just wish that the disc was available for everyone because it's on unlimited run, I believe. I want it. I want to buy it. I missed the pre-order, and I can't get it now unless I, if I get it.
There is going to be some copies at Best Buy.
Oh, they are bringing them out to stores.
Yes, but I don't know how many copies. They said a few copies. So
okay.
If
I see it, I got it. Yep, definitely.
They confirmed that on Twitter. Limited run game. Yeah.
Okay.
It's pretty awesome. Limited run, man. Wow.
I want it for PlayStation 4. That's what I want an announcement for. I want it for that, but it's for Switch right now.
The minor complaint that I have with that is outside of the US, it's not easy to get hold of the limited run products. They are expensive to import. There are taxes. The shipment is expensive. It's quite expensive.
No kidding. Wow.
I think they should do a pre-order, another order afterwards to see how many people actually still want it, and then do an order for the people who want it afterwards. That would be cool.
It's not a bad idea.
Especially since it did better than their expectations.
Yeah.
Maybe they have some extra money to actually get it out to people who want it. And they're going to get the money back. Don't worry about it. People are going to buy it. But hopefully they give you the option. And maybe they'll see this and be like, hey, you guys, you really want that? Maybe we'll do it. So they listen. They do listen to the community. I give them that.
No, it's true. From Forever Entertainment, Ben Awesome. Yeah, it's like he's very good with responding to tweets, and I like how he's hands-on. He's very hands-on with social media, and he's very all-around cool dude. So
yeah, he's very cool. Very cool.
I trust him with Panzer Dragoon too, and if he gets his hands on Saga, and if he's gonna remake that and bring that out, oh man, that's gonna be.
Well, we can talk about what he said about Saga, like. On our podcast where we interviewed him, he said that Panzer Dragoon Saga is a big undertaking for his development studio. So if they, he would love to do it, but it is a lot of work to do that. And that's like saying, like, Final Fantasy VII came out recently with the remake, right? We all know how big that title is. We all know how small of a snippet that they took out of the real game and brought out and what they did with that. Now, if they were to do something like that with Saga, Panzer Dragoon Saga, if they were to remake it at that extent, that would be amazing. Because it was originally made for Saturn to compete with Final Fantasy VII.
Really?
Yeah.
That was made made directly to compete. I did not know that.
They said they wanted to do the same sales that Final Fantasy VII does.
Well, I'm not sure they were as precise as that, but they clearly, when they heard that Final Fantasy VII was going on the PlayStation, Sega was like, okay, we need something to compete with that game.
Yep.
And that's what we heard. But I think at the end of the development, they realized that the Saturn was dead, and that's why they did not, really push in terms of marketing in the West. They just released a few copies, and it was all sad the way it happened. But
3,000 copies, right? I think that was it. Jeez.
I don't know. I'm not sure about the number because some people say 3,000, some say 5,000. I don't know exactly about the number.
Well, worldwide, the number is hard to get, but I'm pretty sure US had a very low run of the actual title. And they said that, they had voice acting in it and everything, but it was all Japanese, and they just put subtitles for everybody else because by the time it was ready to be released, like you said, the Saturn was already dead. Yeah. And that had to hurt. So jeez. I actually did play. I was one of the ones who didn't get a chance to play Saga because of, how limited it was. And you were one of the lucky ones to actually have one.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I have one. I beat that game so many times. I love it. It was an awesome game. Awesome
because I can't talk about that one. So
well, one thing about Saga that was just amazing was that up until then, the series was on rails. So when you explored different areas, like I guess if you wanted to call them dungeons or, it kind of had like dungeons in the form of you were just like flying through valleys and stuff like that. It was full 360. You go backwards, you can fly, turn around, fly another direction, use a laser on a crate to get items that way, run into enemies while you would, it was just, I didn't think it could work. When I first heard about Panzer Dragoon role-playing, I'm like, the first two were great as rail shooters. Why are they going to switch direction? But then the soul of the game is still there. It's like you run into an enemy, you could move around the enemy. You know, you move to its left, its right, in front of it, and back of it. You know, before you launch your attack, you get 3 attacks, and you got gauges going up, kind of like an active battle system with Final Fantasy VII. You know, an active battle system. But then, you know, when you got the gauges, you can attack any time as long as if one of your gauges are up. Some attacks take more than 1 gauge, some take 2 or 3, and you have to decide which attack. You got to decide what position are you going to attack from. You're going to attack the enemy from the back. I think some enemies had weaknesses in the front, some had the back, on the side. So you had to decide where you wanted to position yourself and what attack you wanted to launch. Sometimes it was good to shoot with the, you know, just like in the regular games, the rail shooter games, sometimes it was great to shoot with your blaster. Sometimes it was great to use your missiles and stuff. But this is where the dragon morphing was really going crazy with it. It started with 2, you know, but you didn't really control it too much. You know, like, I guess it was based on your performance, I think, in 2, you know, the dragon morphing. But in the saga, you kind of, you know, you were able to kind of morph your dragon to be more agile and quick.
Of your style of play.
Yeah, to kind of, you know, and also depending on who you were fighting. You're fighting a boss and he's kicking your ass. Maybe you want to use, you know, you know, make him more defensive, but then that makes your dragon slower. So you might not be
strategy in.
There was a lot more strategy to it. And there was different things that happened, different characteristics that happened to your dragon depending on how you morphed them. And you could kind of morph in between a defensive and a quick. And there was 2 other ones. So it was like, I'm just thinking of the quick one. There was a
There's always speed, power, and balance, basically.
And there was another. I feel like there were 2 more. It's been a long time since I played it, but there were.
You know, they added this morphing system on the fly because in other JRPG you have a party of several members, but here in Panzer Dragoon Saga you only have your dragon, so that's why they decided to add this, you know, layer of
multiple gauges, attack gauges. I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To morph from defense to, you know, to give it a little bit more variety.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it did with the enemies you fought. Of course, you fought dragons. Of course, you fought, you know, ships and things like that. It was, you know, it was just the bosses, the fights. It was just crazy. And I think it expanded the lore. I think with the first 2 games, like, you could see how rich the lore is, you know, and you kind of see how the dragon is kind of like, you know, it's like a legendary figure in a sense. You know, how it comes back and what its role is. And you kind of, Saga expanded upon that, you know, and that was just the way it expanded the lore. It was, and, you know, it was crazy. And it just made me fall in love with the series even more. That's why I was just like, this is one of the greatest role-playing games ever made. It's not the longest role-playing game. It doesn't need to be. But it's a blast from beginning to end. There's no like the pacing is great. There's no like part where that I felt was like a slog. So the fact that it hasn't been ported to any other system since then is just one of the, you know, the unfortunate crimes of gaming, you know. Mm-hmm. But
and I'd like to play it. I want to play it.
No, every single Panzer fan who has not played that's got to play that game. It's like, I mean,
they recommend that you try it on emulation if you can't find the game itself. At least to try it and play it because it is playable on a computer.
Yeah.
So at least there's that. But I want a new one. I want a polished one. I want it to be the experience that they want.
I want a remake. It's got like, it's got to be like Saturn graphics are just ugly. They're just ugly.
Well, they said they can't remaster it because apparently it's lost.
The code.
Yeah, but then we hear it is and it isn't. We don't know.
Yeah, but Tatsugi said maybe it's not lost, but even, you know, if they have it or if they don't have it, they can still remake a game. It's just,
exactly.
It takes resources, but maybe a first step could be to, you know, port the game. They have ISOs, you know, they can maybe do a Saturn Mini or they can do Sega Ages, you know, collection for, you know, like
they have never done it for Saga.
They could simply, maybe it could be, you know, to test the water, to see how it goes. They sell it for like, I don't know, $10, $15 on the Switch. And then if they see that it works, then can, you know, invest a bit more in a proper remake for, you know.
That's not a bad idea. Make money off of a port first, then, like just like they do with the Final Fantasy games. They got Final Fantasy VII. They got all the old PlayStation Final Fantasies. on the Switch, you know, and they're not expensive at all, like $15, $9, $10 or something like that. They should probably they can do the same thing like that.
Well, the fact that part 1 is doing well should open their eyes a little bit. And even if they're not going to make Saga, even if Forever Entertainment's not making it, another company can look at that success that they've had with this, and hopefully with Panzer Dragoon's Y, look at the success that those are going to have, and then say, maybe we can throw a little something to do a remake of Saga, because obviously people want to do it. I don't know if it's going to be like to the extent of something like Final Fantasy VII, but we're not asking that. We just want
no one's asking for that.
Better, like even these remakes, the graphics on them aren't, Spider-Man or God of War or now type graphics, but they're so much better than the Saturn graphics. It's fine. Well,
that's what I'm saying. And this is what I was saying about Panzer Dragoon Remake when people were killing the graphics when it first came out. I was like, look, I saw side-by-side comparisons. It is not a remake. They said they should have said it's a remake. I said, no, this is a remake, number one. Number two, it's like, it looks better than a Dreamcast game. If it looks better than a Dreamcast game or a PlayStation 2 game, it's on the Switch, number one. So it had to make it compatible for the Switch. And now with the newest update, it runs at 60 frames per second, and it looks beautiful, even in portable mode. And not only that, but just moving the shooting reticle around, whether it's in classic mode or modern mode, is just a lot better. I'm a better
something about when it first came out felt broken when I was playing it. Something I couldn't put my finger on it, but something felt broken about. I
agree.
About shooting and the
shooting and the aiming and stuff like that, and that you had the lag when you press the L1 button. But now
since the update though, now I feel like I am connected with the game.
Yes.
I can aim where I want to aim, and even there were little nitpicky things in there that I was like, "What the heck?" Because the aiming thing, was behind you, and I was like, "Why am I seeing my aiming thing behind my dragon?" And the original is in front of me. I can't aim it right because I'm looking at a different thing. It was weird. And then that
was a complaint people said. It never bothered me, but people complained about that.
It looked weird to me. And then they said old school reticle, and I'm like,
we are back. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay,
no worries.
So the aiming reticle, that it annoyed me because it was behind you, and that was one thing that it caused me not to play right. Because I couldn't aim correctly. I was looking at the wrong things, and I was like, it's on you. I don't know what it is. But now that the old school one was in there as an option, I clicked that, changed the game completely. I can actually pinpoint where I'm aiming, and I can shoot missiles when they're in the water. Big difference in the game. It might not have been the same for everybody, but for me, that changed the whole game for me. And obviously, the other updates they did for it. So if you want to go into what the new patch brought to it,
I want to say something about the new patch, because yes, the 60 frames per second was awesome. Okay, that was just like the fact that they were able to accomplish that on portable was amazing.
Looks very
playing in modern or classic right now, you're gonna play better. Your aim's gonna be a lot better. The way the dragon moves, they said they remapped the dragon. You see it because the dragon doesn't move up when he's flapping his wings. He's kind of stationary, which is good. If you move up, the dragon will move up then. Two critiques I have about the new update, and I would give the game an 8 out of 10. It deserves high marks.
It's still Panzer Dragoon 1 though.
It's still exactly. It's still Panzer Dragoon 1, and it's awesome. Panzer Dragoon was awesome when it first came out. This update makes it awesome, really, really great. But when they announced that they were bringing gyro, I was really, Stikz, I was really anticipating the gyro. I love motion control. And
you were excited.
I was very, you weren't. I was very excited because look, whenever I've liked the Resident Evil games, you put a little gyro in there. I can't play any other way because the gyro makes it so much better. So when I first got a shot, I prefer to play this game differently than everybody's. I like the modern, and especially with the new update playing modern with twin sticks, it feels so much better, and it feels good to me. I shoot things down, man. I shoot them down. I'm gonna do a playthrough of it.
I'm a classic
feels too limited. I like modern, so
I like it.
Oh, go. I'm sorry.
No, I like it too because I started with the classics, and then I said, okay, let's try the modern. And once it clicks with you, it's really comfortable, to be able to, if you want to aim in the opposite direction as you're moving, it's really.
Yes. Yes.
Don't do that.
I don't want to do that.
that was the thing. Like, I like to move. Yeah, it's just like I like to move in a different direction that I aim sometimes, and that was, you know, like, so I was hoping the gyro would make playing modern better, but
when you were hyped up on this gyro controls and motion controls, you were thinking the Wii, and I was like, this is the Switch. So I don't know why you're getting super excited about this gyro control, like it's going to be on point.
Both Joy-Cons have the same technology in it. With the Wii, you had just the, you know, like the Wii remote, and the nunchuck couldn't. But besides that, the thing that kind of was lackluster to me about the gyroscope is that it's, number one, it's only exclusive for Classic. That's number one. And
that's fine.
No, it's not fine. You have to move the left Joy-Con, and it moves the dragon and the aiming at the same time. So you're controlling movement. It's like gyro's not cool when you control the movement of your character.
You just want to control your aiming.
I just want to control the aiming, and I don't know why. I'd like to, if we have Ben Awesome on, I'd love to ask him this question. Why, if he plans to make modern, like add gyroscope to the modern so I could control the aiming while I move the dragon in a different direction, because now that modern is better with this update, gyro, you know, like putting gyro controls would have knocked it out of the park. I'm assuming that maybe they had some difficulty in development, probably. I'm
sure they hear you. They hear you.
Well, it's like, it doesn't feel great Classic. Like moving around, like the left Joy-Con for aiming just doesn't feel right, and it doesn't feel right for moving a character around.
What do you want? You want it opposite?
I want it to be just for modern. It should be gyro control just for modern, and it should be the right Joy-Con moving your aim where you can move your aim, not the drag. Well, whatever. It's not the dragon. You move the aim.
Explain it so they know.
Look, all right, gyro. When you use it, all right, when it's the left, you're using the right Joy-Con. Sorry, if you use the right Joy-Con, you'd be aiming. That's the modern controls, and you could aim. Yeah, you aim with the dragon, whether you, point the reticle over enemies to lock on.
And you want that to be the gyro.
Yeah, that's going to be the gyro.
Okay.
And also, while moving it, if I want to shoot a blaster, I want to shoot a blaster too. It's the same fire button, regardless of whether you hold it down or not. But another thing that sucked I noticed in this update that was available in the last update, okay? When you play handheld sometimes, right? And you play modern control, you're controlling the aiming with the right stick, right? And you're shooting with the R trigger. And it feels a little funny sometimes doing that. But you were able to use the left trigger for shooting, and you hold it down, you'd be able to lock on, you know? Even though you use the right stick for aiming, and it was very comfortable when you do a handheld. And sometimes when I use the Pro Controller, I play that way. I'll use the right stick to aim, and I'll use the left trigger to fire and hold down the button. But with this update, they removed the lock on with the left trigger. You could just fire
because they added alternate buttons for shooting on the.
Yes, controller. left trigger and right trigger. So now you could fire with right trigger. You could hold down, lock on with right trigger, but you can't do that with the left trigger. You could fire with the left trigger, but you can't lock on with the left trigger. And I don't know why that was removed. So
because I don't use it.
you don't use it, so you don't care. I'm a player that does, so I care. So it's like, I'm not sure. Like every time they do an update, that's development cost. That's money. So I don't know if they plan after this huge update if they're doing another one. But if they do, I really hope they add gyro to modern, so the right Joy-Con could be used for aiming. I could use my left stick for moving as I do this, and they return the lock-on functionality to the left trigger button. Please, Ben Awesome, make it happen.
Yeah, I hear you, and it makes sense. If you look at Splatoon,
Yes, Splatoon's a great example of great gyro. Yes.
Your character with the left stick, and the gyro only controls the aim, not the character movement. So
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Correct. Only the modern controls, because the classic move the aiming and the movement at the same time, so it should not apply to this mode actually.
I never imagined gyro applying the classic. It doesn't make classic more fun to play. I think it's a bad use of gyro, and I love gyro when it's implemented the correct way. In Splatoon, yes, that's a great way to do it. Resident Evil's Revelations 2 with gyro, Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, when they use gyro, it's just third-person shooters. They just work better with gyro when the right Joy-Con is used for aiming. Doom also. It's just, any first-person shooter. Now, Panzer Dragoons is an on-rail shooter, but it's still a third-person shooter. So it should follow those rules, I think.
Hopefully they listen.
What I think they should also improve is the button remapping, because I think the modern controls is cool for letting you control the dragon movement and the aim independently.
Yes.
Why do you force us to use the side button to fire? Why can't I use the face button if I like it to lock on?
That's true. But hold on, I would think it would be a little tough to do you got your thumb on the right stick, right? You got your right thumb on the right stick, but you want to use one of your fingers to press the face button?
Well, sometimes, sometimes you can do it if you are both your thumbs moving at the same time, but sometimes your right thumb would not be moving, and sometimes it feels good to, I would like to be able to do both at the same time, at least. Because
Doesn't the update on the Switch allow you to change those buttons independently now anyway?
Yeah. It just feels a little bit more polished if it's done in
game. In the game, yeah. That's true. It might be awkward even if you do it on a.
If I do that, I would change the configuration for the whole game. So if I go back to classic, I will mess with with the settings. So
that's possible. Yeah, that is definitely possible.
I think it's good that they have implemented all those features, but the gyro controls, they should have put beta, like it's not finished. In the option, they should have put beta, because it's clearly not usable at the moment. I've seen many people complain about that. Apparently, it's only the 4 directions. It's not analog, I think. So you can only move left, right, up, down. It's not... you don't have the 8 directions, I think.
Yeah, diagonal.
With 8 directions with what? With
the gyro.
With the gyro? It should. I would think so. It's like the Wii Motion Plus for the Wii had 8 directions moving with motion, and the Joy-Cons are supposed to be much more.
Yeah, the Switch can do it, but I think the game is not. Is only using 4 directions now.
Oh, really? Oh, so the game itself.
I need to test it for the review of the patch for the channel, but that's what I read people complain about.
Oh, that's a letdown. that's.
I never wanted to use gyro, to be honest with you.
You will never see me use gyro.
I was excited for the rumble, because I think this feedback is really cool to have this rumble when you lock. I think it's really.
I like the HD rumble. Yes, it's pretty cool, and it's underrated. Even in a game, another Sega revival, Streets of Rage 4, the HD rumble feels really good when you play that game, and it works for Panzer Dragoon also. It's like the rumble's really good.
But Panzer Dragoon, the action is going so fast, I think, and sometimes you can't even see. So if you have a feedback like that, you know when you have locked successfully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think in Street of Rage, you can still see quite easily what's on screen. But in Panzer Dragoon, sometimes it goes over, from left to right. You have enemies. You can't even see them with a green background in the forest. It was also one of the complaints. So I think this, for me at least, the rumble is really cool. And I'm happy they implemented it correctly, because there are some games on Switch that completely fuck the rumble.
That's true.
The intensity is way too high, and it makes a noise because it's vibrating way too loud. But the remake, it's correct. It's done correctly.
I like it in the remake. I haven't played. There's episode 0 in the update I haven't played yet. Yeah,
you gotta get the code. You gotta put the code in for it.
Oh, you gotta put the code in for it. Okay.
So after you get Pandora's box, they allow you to put secret codes in to open Pandora's box, basically.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten into it, but I appreciate God mode and unlimited credits because before they did this update, let me tell you, the game cheats. The game cheated all the time. Stage 4, stage 5, I got hit constantly. There's nothing you could do. I was like, the door just opened. How am I hit? Like there was stuff in the game that just was not right.
When the door closes and stuff like that. I could not dodge that before the first update. I could not dodge it before the first update at all. Once the first patch happened, I was able to dodge it. I was like, I was able to aim better after the first patch. And then I'm able to aim better again after the second patch. So I'm just like...
Stage 6 is still not happening for me. Not on hard. I'm not playing that game on hard ever. Because you just get bashed. You get bashed from everywhere. And I'm like, I can't see. So it has me wondering. Well, let me talk about another thing I like about the update, which happened in the first update. They added the original music. So at first, I didn't even realize the original music wasn't there.
What?
They added the original music is in it.
No, the original music was there from day one.
It was there. The remix
music is what they added in the second one. It
Yeah.
started my game automatically on the second update. That's why, because I switched it on the third update to the original. Okay. All right. This is what you do on a remake. Always have the original music if it's possible. Don't ever remix the original music without giving the option of the original music. So they did it the right way. They had the original music in to begin with and then added the remix. I listened to it. I went through it. I was like, I don't like this remix music. Not better than the original. Not really. Because it didn't pick up. It didn't have any oomph to it. So I was like, it doesn't have that whimsical type feeling like the original.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, I do it like if my light went off. If you have like orchestrated versus something like, 8-bit or something like that, like, that type of stuff, then I'll take it. You want to hear it sound better. But if it's already orchestrated, you don't got to remix it. What are you remixing? You don't have to do that. That's a waste of resources.
It's not like MIDI sounds, being remixed with orchestrated stuff. So it's a tough deal. It's not like a Streets of Rage 4 thing where they have their own tracks better and they had the classic sounds. It's like this was just taking the same tracks and remix them. So it's just like I like the remix soundtrack. I don't know if I like it better.
No, you don't like it better.
I can't say it. I switch on the original more. I guess I don't know if it's a nostalgia thing. I gotta give the remix one a chance again, but it's a tough sell for people who really fell in love with the original. I felt that way when they remixed Phantasy Star in the Sega ages.
Now they ruined it.
They ruined that music, man. I'm like, you can't. I'm like, you cannot.
Whenever you make a remake, don't mess with the music.
But
it's tough.
They did that with the Final Fantasy VII remake, and people like that.
Oh yeah, no, they did a great job though.
Yeah, but that's true. That's a good example.
When you do a better job, that's great. But if you do it, I mean, it's iffy. It's iffy. It's very iffy. Like those were remakes of it. They did improve on every level on those songs. I can't complain about Final Fantasy VII songs, but.
Okay, I'm going to defend Kobayashi-san here because I like what he did. I really like it, but I think it's a matter of preference, I understand that you guys have played the original game when it was released, so I think it affects how you hear
nostalgia.
It's important for you to play with the original music, and I get that. For me, because I like Saga so much, Kobayashi-san was the composer for Saga and Altar, and I really like what she's done on this remake, and I recommend that you guys put the music at 100% when you play to really hear it. But
I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna give the remix. I'm gonna give the remix one another shot because I like it. I do like it a lot. But
the original, you have orchestrated music, but not all the musics. A couple. So if you compare to the orchestrated music, yes, I can hear why. Orchestral songs they have more richness to them. But if you compare to the more, electronic music of the time and you compare to what Kobayashi-san has done, I think it's more fair to compare like that. But
I got you. It's a nostalgia thing.
At the end of the day, it's just a matter of preference, and I think it's a great option to have both for the fans.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm gonna give it another. I'm gonna give it a couple more playthroughs. I play through Panzer Dragoon probably at least twice a week. I love the length. People are like, oh, $25 for 6 stages. It's like that's like $4 a stage. It's like that's a great price. I was like $4 a stage. And then you look at the quality with the updates of brought to the game, and it's just the Pandora's box. It's like I think it's a great value. But I'm gonna play. The next few playthroughs I do with that, I'm gonna do the remix soundtrack. I'm gonna give it another shot because Saga has awesome music too. I remember the work that was done on Saga. So I gotta give the remake, some more love with the remake soundtrack.
But they redeemed themselves with the updates. They definitely did.
Yep.
But we didn't talk about Order. So this is another game. So like I said, I didn't play 3, right?
Uh-huh.
I didn't play Saga. So I went straight to Order.
Mm-hmm.
And, Xbox was kind of like the Dreamcast too, if you think about it. Because
they got Jet Grind Radio Future, right?
Yeah. The way Sega bought out all their titles to them first,
mm-hmm.
right after that, because, Dreamcast wasn't by Microsoft. If you didn't notice, it said Windows on there.
Yep.
But they came to there and they bought some of their titles on there, and Panzer Dragoon was considered to be over after Saga. Like, it didn't do as well as they'd like it to, and it was done.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody was like, I want to do a new version of Panzer Dragoon. And it was like, we want to do a strategy game. He was like, no, we want to do it this way. Like, the real way.
Yo, they want to do a strategy game with it?
Yeah. They wanted to do strategy. It was an option, but they decided on doing another on rails. And just looking back, I mean, it was astonishing when I got it then, but just looking back at it now, it's running at 60 frames per second. It is looking, it looks really good. And they just recently got a 4K update to play it on the Xbox One.
Wow.
So you can play the original disc or the digital version of it, and then you can play it on the Xbox One with a 4K patch on it to make it look even better.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't think of that as, one of the greatest Panzers, but
it's awesome though.
For me,
it is awesome.
I think if you're following more on a storyline basis, they kind of shoehorned it in storyline wise, and the way the lore is and everything. Yeah. But character design, level design, the fact that you can evolve the dragon on the fly based on the situation that you're in.
Yep.
I love that one probably the best out of all the Panzer Dragoons, just because of how the action is in it.
Yeah.
And it just looks dope. It looks dope to me. I love it.
Nah, and that's the great thing about the Panzer Dragoon series. Is like every game is something special.
Mm-hmm.
Every game, when they come out with a release of it, they like you're not a big VR. Well, we're kind of VR fans. Al G857 and 23rd Stallion, they're not.
They haven't tried it.
They haven't tried. They're not really VR guys. Like,
but can you see? Well, let me get into why they even thought of having this in VR. So I'm a fan of all of these titles, even the ones that came out afterwards that were inspired by Panzer. So Rez, that was huge. I got it for Dreamcast, got it for PS2, got it for the phone, I got it for the Xbox, I got it for the PS2. I bought that so many times. So they had a VR version available on the PlayStation 2 one, or PlayStation 4 one, I should say. I played a stage in that, and the amount of immersion that it gives you to be able to look around and shoot everywhere on the screen is something like, this is what Panzer Dragoon is supposed to feel like without looking left, right, forward, and back. So it's just the implementation of how you see the map and how you know where things are is how that's going to be. If they figure that out and make it easy for you to know, oh, something's behind me, something's over here, something's over here, that's going to make or break the VR experience on that, because there is a VR Panzer Dragoon coming out.
Yeah.
It's like a best of? Is that how that's going to be? Levels of 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, they are, selecting a few battle sequences from 1, Spy, and Saga and remaking that. So we don't know much about that yet, but that's the concept.
So storyline-wise, they don't have to rely on like a narrative too much. They're just doing stage, which is fine. It's just a different way to experience Panzer Dragoon, which is cool, because it's not so much of a difference than what it actually is. Because if you did play Rez, I mean, obviously, I'd rather play it third person if you're going to give me a choice. But for me to play it in VR,
now you're on the top of the dragon.
It's an experience. It's definitely an experience. And it's when I'd like to, I wish it was an extra thing that you had on the remakes. I wish VR was a mode in there that you can pick. That's where I would see VR.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. But I mean, I want to see if they're going to improve the graphics, what they're going to do, because you don't even have to worry about the dragon anymore. So everything should look better. So I just want to see how it is in that world again. That's all the experience really that we care about is that world. Bring me back to that world again, and we'll be happy. Yep. But then there's what was it? Was it Child of Eden? That was another game that was like based off of this type of game. Also, is rhythm based also, like Res.
Yeah.
But same type of on rails shooter like that. And that was with the Kinect. I bought it for the Kinect too. And you could put your hands out, and it was like the future. I saw him playing on a huge screen, and he was like closing his hand, opening his hand to shoot the lasers and stuff. And I beat that with the Kinect. It was dope. It actually worked great. Yeah, because you look at something like that and you think it's a gimmick. Like, oh, look at this futuristic. I'm doing this on the TV with my hands, but it actually worked.
It worked though.
Yeah, and no one talks about Child of Eden at all. Yeah, and it's available. You can buy it for the new systems too. Mm-hmm. It's dope.
You can still buy it.
Yeah, buy it.
But how do you play without the Kinect?
With the controller. They made you play with the controller.
It's not the same. It's probably better without the controller.
Whatever. Like Panzer, you play with the controller. Play with the controller. It's the same type of game.
Wow.
But are they gonna make? Do you want a new Panzer Dragoon? Do we want a new one? Like a completely new one? Yeah, I'm pretty sure the community wants a new Panzer Dragoon.
That'd be gregreat. Yeah, I'd take it.
Yeah, I mean, sorry to interrupt. Did you watch or listen or read my interview of Futatsugi-san?
Oh no, I don't think I checked it out.
He mentions that he's busy with his studio now, but he's still thinking about Panzer Dragoon, and he would like to make a new game, and not an on-rail game, but an open world game. So
an open world.
And it's actually similar to the petition I've created in 2017. For an open world Panzer Dragoon. I know it's asking for a lot, but if you want to dream. You might as well dream it big. So I think Panzer Dragoon has a lot of potential with the lore, the story, the music. It has potential, but obviously we are quite far from that at the moment. But still closer to where we were just 2 years ago. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what these remakes are making it so that more people know about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully, somebody out there is like, hey, I see where this can go, and they can do it.
Absolutely. And I think
so. Then we have Panzer Dragoon Mini to play on the Game Gear. You don't want to play that one,
dude. Oh my God, the Game Gear.
Yeah, everyone forgets about that one.
Yes, I forget about that one. I sometimes see the name listed when you look up Panzer Dragoon. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I'm like,
Panzer Dragoon Mini. It's for the it's for the kids. It's for the kids.
Oh my God!
Even one on the what system is this? With the sound, with the weird sound. What system? You have a sort of headset. R-Zone.
Oh, really?
Is there something on that? Yeah.
Panzer Dragoon R-Zone. If you go on the website panzerdragoon.world, you will check the.
Yes, I remember.
We'll find that the R-Zone, but
it was first person. First person. You're just shooting at stuff on the screen. Yes, really? I remember, and there was no story. Yep.
But it's forget about it.
That's a collector's edition. Yeah. That's if you really want every Panzer, you got to get that one.
All right, so the mainline Panzer Dragoon game is something special.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I definitely look forward to anything they got coming down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just wanted to add that Futatsugi said that he thinks that the rail shooter genre is pretty much dead. So if he doesn't want to tackle this genre again, and he thinks that he thinks that the Panzer Dragoon IP should try something more modern going forward. So
yeah, I kind of agree with that only because, and this is the problem going back to Star Fox. Everyone always goes back to Star Fox 64. But the thing about on-rail shooters is like Panzer Dragoon, like 2 in order. They're kind of like perfect. It's like there's not much you're going to be able to do to improve that formula. It's like the game's a great quality Panzer Dragoon game that's an on-rail shooter. They're going to be similar going forward. After they do this remake of 2, and if they port Order, which they should, there's not really much you can do without going into, making more games like Saga and maybe making it more open world. I'm totally for that idea. And I think Panzer Dragoon could totally go there.
Especially with something like Saga existing.
Yes.
You already have what it can be.
Yeah, we already
You
have
don't
the
want to bring
blueprint.
it back to just a rail shooter when you have something is open and gameplay
Yes.
wise, and it works. Like, you don't
Mhm.
have to test it. You're not testing the water. You understand
Yes.
what works. And if you want to do it in open world, plus have that gameplay mechanic of, the role play, if you want to, you can do it.
Yeah. And going back to Star Fox again, I don't know, these series, they have such a lot in common. But there was a game called Starlink that came out, I think it was last year.
Is it good?
Made by,
Is it good?
Oh yeah, I love Starlink a lot. It got really, really great reviews. The Nintendo Switch version has Star Fox characters in it.
I have it, but I have not played it yet.
It plays like an open world Star Fox game. If you would imagine what a Star Fox game would be like open world, you travel different planets, there's intergalactic space battles, there's interplanetary space battles. I would imagine Star Fox open world. So, if they did that formula with Panzer Dragoon, the possibilities are freaking endless. And that's really where they should go with the IP after they remake these, the older games to get people familiar with what it's about. That's the direction they should go.
They just need the budget.
But then do you still keep it like a shooter, or do you keep it like a RPG with a little bit of interrupted battle with strategy, spells, and stuff like that?
That's going to be the kicker. If they keep it real time, like, if they do like Starlink, which makes it open world, and they keep it, the battles are in real time, you can do that with Panzer Dragoon also. You can keep it real time while it's open world, or, you can do it either way. And I would buy
bosses. Bosses like the Saga.
Bosses like Saga and regular enemies, sort of like
the regular.
They could do that.
So put the best of both worlds in one game.
Did you
and have many complaints?
It's true.
Did you see this game, The Falconeer?
The Falconeer? No.
No,
I saw Crimson Dragon though. Remember that?
I remember. That was supposed to be a successor, right, to Panzer Dragoon?
Yeah, they didn't do too well.
They didn't do too well. Yeah. But how is the Falconeer? Is that like Panzer Dragoon in any sense?
It's not released. It's if you go on Twitter and you search for the Falconeer, you will find some some demos, some videos, and it shows that you're riding on the back of a big bird, and it's quite dynamic. So It's at first I thought it was inspired by Panzer Dragoon, but apparently not. It's inspired by some older, I think World War I airplane.
Really?
But it has a little bit of deja vu in terms of if you're familiar with Panzer Dragoon. When you see this flying and diving, and it's quite nice, and maybe it could be. Give us an idea of how a modern Panzer Dragoon could play.
It's showing the possibilities, yeah.
The Falconeer. I got to check that out. I'm going to have to check that out.
Maybe they can make the new Panzer. Who knows? Let's talk to those guys.
Like a new game?
Yeah.
It's one guy making the Falconeer.
What's that?
It's one guy making the Falconeer.
One guy. I gotta check this game out.
It's impressive. It's a Xbox exclusive, I think.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Listen, we need to talk to Microsoft. We need to talk to this one guy. We need to make Panzer Dragoon sequels.
No. Forever Entertainment. If the Panzer Dragoon games are selling more than expectations, then maybe they'll. By the time they release the second remake, man, which is gonna do better than the first one because it's going to.
We'll get order.
And maybe if they get order, if it's cheaper than doing a Saga, maybe they'll have a budget that's good enough to attack the new games, man.
You need a lot of people. You need a lot of people.
I'll be honest with you. I would, at this point, I would like Sega to do this internally.
You think so?
At this point. No offense. I mean, remakes are good, but remakes of 1 and Spy are different from making an entirely new game, especially if we're talking open world and stuff like that.
You need a AAA budget for that.
It's quite an undertaking.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Sega gets confident. Sega should feel confident in, the sales of Panzer Dragoon Remake doing better than expectations. Sega's funny nowadays, man. They're not even Sega. They're Sammy Sega, And, the Sammy guys, I think they need to be reminded of how great Sega is as far as its franchises.
Well, this year it's happening. They're being reminded.
That's true.
Streets of Rage and Panzer Dragoon. Keep it going.
Indies are taking their creations and are making better games than they were capable of making. You know what I'm saying? It's like especially with Streets of Rage 4, man. Are you kidding me? That blows out any Streets of Rage game that ever came before it. You know, and it's like Sonic Mania. You know, another Sega property made by an indie team, better than any 2D Sega that came. 2D Sonic that came before it.
Keep bringing them. Keep bringing them.
You know, Sega needs to wake up and say, okay, give those studios a bigger budget. You know, it's like, it's just like, don't worry about making it internally. Give these studios a bigger budget. You know, they could do that too.
You know, they didn't have, Street of Rage, I think they didn't have any budget. I think Dotemu, which is the studio behind it, they paid the license, and same for Forever. Sega is not giving any budget on those projects.
Sega didn't give Forever any money.
Oh, no, it's all.
Sega does nothing. They just give them the license.
Giving money to pay for the license.
Wow.
They say, here you go, take the name, do justice. That's all Sega's doing right now.
Yeah, .emu. Yeah, that's right. Because they said they were doing publishing dues. I'm like, I thought Sega helped in some way. They did nothing. Like, just put our name on it because it's our property. But you guys, damn. They didn't even want to take a risk on it.
It's the same with the VR game. You know, the Panzer Dragoon VR. There was an interview recently, and the Japanese developer explained that he's not getting any money from Sega. He's actually paying Sega to use the IP.
Wow.
Crazy. Yep, just for the name, yeah.
Sega's always been a weird company. Sega of America, Sega of Japan, they were freaking rivals. It was like, they hated each other. It's like they really had like a bad rivalry. And that was during the Sega Saturn going to the Dreamcast age. And it's just like,
Listen, all they got is Sonic right now and Valkyria Chronicles. That's Sega right now.
Love that. Love that.
Those franchise. Are great.
Love that franchise, man.
Yeah.
But we love Sega.
That's what Sega is, though, right now.
You know, well,
where's my 3D Space Harrier? Where's that at? That could be on rails. Give me that on rails. Give me something like that.
Space Harrier is kind of pseudo 3D in a sense anyway, right?
Exactly. And they haven't done it. What the hell?
Oh man, probably too simplistic. Panzer Dragoon is like a more fleshed out formula. It's an evolved formula.
Space Harrier is the baby. Space Harrier is the baby for Panzer Dragoon. Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely. Excellent.
All right, it's recording again. So what were we saying? Space Harrier, I think.
Yes, we were talking about the birthplace of Panzer Dragoon, perhaps.
Yes. You said Space Harrier is like a prototype for it. Yeah, I could see that a little bit. It's very.
There was Planet Horizon too. That was for the arcade. That never came out.
Never came.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be ported to Dreamcast. Canceled.
Mm-hmm. And I get you can for Sega, you could bring that back to way back then is where Panzer Dragoon's roots were.
Yeah. But like you were saying before, though, Stikz, like, Sega's showing glimpses, like the Streets of Rage for the Panzer Dragoon remake and Panzer Dragoon 2 remake on the horizon. Those give me hope, but they also give me caution since Sega's not throwing money into these projects. Did they at least pay for Sonic Mania at all?
I think so. I think they still mess with Sonic.
They still mess with publishing Sonic. It's just like,
they just hired the right people. But I mean, the thing about it is, Sega, like, at least they're giving, like, the only positive out of this is at least they're letting people do something with these licenses. They're not just holding them and locking them away like they were.
We give kudos for progress. That's true.
So that's the one thing that you can get from this.
I think they really wanted to minimize the risk on this, and so they said, okay, try it, and if it doesn't work, then we don't lose money. You know what I mean? But
absolutely,
they seem to be making money. At least Forever has confirmed that the game is profitable already. So I hope they get the message and do something more ambitious with it.
Yeah.
Even if they say, hey, we'll do another one, but we're still not going to give out money. So we'll let them do what they want out there. We'll just collect the check.
Did you see this? Sorry, you want to say?
No, go ahead.
I've seen, this account, the Sega Forever account.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know about it. It's been pretty active recently about some Saturn game. Have you noticed that?
No, I mean, as far as what Sega's doing right now, because of the virus and stuff, they like
Yeah,
not
but
done what they want to do.
in the
'Cause-
past, I think they were not vocal at all about the Sega Saturn games.
Mm.
It's like they wanted to forget about it. Like they were ashamed of that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
Seriously.
But now on the Sega Forever account, they seem to be talking a lot about some Saturn games, especially Panzer Dragoon, Burning Rangers, and
Burning Ranges.
so
Yep.
why suddenly they are talking about these games if there is
because they're
nothing
looking at their bank account.
You know, I'm just thinking maybe they are teasing something. I don't know. There is this anniversary this year for Sega.
Right.
So could it be that they are going to announce some Sega Edge Sport of the Saturn games finally after all those years that we wanted that? Or is it teasing for a Saturn Mini or something else? I don't know. But I have a sort of gut feeling that they have never mentioned those Saturn games before. I think.
That's
I think
great.
it's probably all for what is it for scenarios 1, 2, and 3.
Shining Force 3, yes.
Shining Force 3.
Now I'll tell you, I look at the Sega Saturn like the Wii U. Didn't sell much. Now the Saturn was a great system, even though it didn't sell, and so was the Wii U. Great system, didn't sell. Both had bad marketing, but both were home to some great gems.
But Nintendo wasn't stupid though. Nintendo wasn't stupid, and they bought out all those titles that didn't sell right.
Nintendo loves its franchises.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like they believe in their franchises. They love and support their franchises more than Sega does. Like Sega's got to really be like, okay, Dragon Force is awesome. Shining Force 3, scenarios 1, 2, or 3. Best strategy role-playing game ever created. That story, the way the games interconnect with each other. No one's done it since then. They got Astral was a great game. Sega Saturn was home to a lot of great games. Guardian Heroes. It's like there were gems on there, man. They need to bring those back.
They think that leaving them on the system is going to make more Saturn sell. It's over. It's over. Bring them out. Bring them out to other systems.
You know, my feeling on that is that because the Saturn was a failure, the Dreamcast then was, the end of the Sega in the hardware. I feel like Sega felt, okay, we need to forget about those games. We're not going to do anything about it because it was a failure. So now we need to focus on the future. But I think they should reconsider that, and because they only considered porting a few games like Knights or and
Knights was great too. Yeah,
it was good, but apparently it did not sell very well. The ports, the remaster, I think. So I think they should consider a project like a Saturn Mini that would bring many games at the same time, and I think doing so, they would have more opportunity to, interest people because maybe we don't want to buy Knights, but maybe we want to have a Saturn Mini with several games that we can.
They should do a Saturn Mini. Yeah.
Listen, basically, they blame business-wise. They blame the games, not the system,
which sucks. And the wrong approach.
The reason why. Yeah, the reason why Saturn didn't do as good as they were supposed to is because the architecture of it was too hard to program for. And in comparison to the N64 and the PlayStation, those games didn't look as good graphically. So why do you want people to invest in something that looks like it's not as powerful at the time? So even though those other games that were exclusive to it they should have sold, there was nothing to sell to because no one had the system. So you can't really blame the games for, it sold this low. Because first of all, you didn't give us enough to sell.
The console didn't sell. So
the console wasn't there,
And the marketing, PlayStation was destroying the competition with their marketing. I mean, if you had a Saturn, you were like the stupid kid. I remember I had a Saturn. I didn't have the PlayStation, and most of my friends had the PlayStation. I only had one or two friends, and that's thanks to my friend that I could play Panzer Dragoon Saga, by the way. But I mean, most people had a PlayStation at the time. So
Stikz used to make fun of me because I didn't have a PlayStation. He's like, you got Saturn but no PlayStation? He's like, what's wrong with you? He's like, and I'm just like, I was a hardcore Nintendo guy. I was a hardcore Sega guy.
You had a Genesis, you had a Super Nintendo.
Exactly.
So for you to not have a Saturn and a PlayStation was questionable. It was questionable.
You don't understand. I was a fanboy back then. Nintendo and Sony were supposed to get together and do a system, and then they broke off and say, "I'm gonna do my own system." I was like, "Word? I'm not gonna support you then, Sony. I'm not gonna support you then. I'm gonna stick with my Sega and my Nintendo." I did that with the N64 and the Saturn, and Sega went out of the hardware business.
You had an N64. I did not.
Yep.
So I'll give you that. I don't want an N64. So I see how you might have felt about the PlayStation. I do not, still to this day.
But a Saturn Mini though is a great idea, especially since Sony botched their PlayStation Mini.
It all comes down to the emulation.
Yeah.
Emulation for Saturn is still hard as hell.
It's true.
It works. It's better if you Polymega use emulation. You know the Polymega?
Yes.
Polymega. Which one do I use?
Polymega.
I forgot. The Polymega. That's good. I use it.
It can play the Saturn. It can play the CD-based games. It looks to be pretty good. It's expensive, but it looks to be doing a decent job.
It's expensive. Yeah.
Damn.
You can play all the emulated games on a disc, and because it can play all the rhythm games, all the rhythm-based games on time.
Yeah,
I have to buy that at some point.
Sega should do a Saturn Mini, or they should sell officially on the Polymega via a digital store. They should find an agreement and sell officially the games, because now on eBay Panzer Dragoon Saga costs $500. Why don't they sell the ISO on the Polymega?
Yeah, that would be the way to get the stuff out to people who really need it, and it might sell them a couple of systems too.
Yeah, I would do it if I was Sega. That's if they're so stingy about investing their own money in their own IPs because they don't want to take the risk. Do that.
You can sell your Panzer Dragoon Saga, get a Polymega, and the ISO. That's about how much it costs for it.
I can sell my Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Yeah.
But as you said, it's not because the hardware failed that the games were all bad. We know they were good, but now it's time for Sega to fully understand that. And, okay, they are old games, but they can make a little bit of money from that.
To be honest, I think they'll come out with a Dreamcast Mini before Saturn Mini. Because of how easy it is. Like, anybody's phone can run a Dreamcast now. Like, it's very easy to run a Dreamcast on an emulator. Pretty much 100% perfect.
I would not be happy at all because they did the Genesis Mini. They need to respect the chronology,
Oh, I wish. Agree. Yeah, hopefully they don't skip. Hopefully they don't skip it. But as far as ease of use, I think that they might even just jump to Dreamcast.
Yeah.
Because they want Sonic Adventure out there. I know how Sega thinks. They don't really care about Saturn. There's no Sonic game. There's no Sonic game on the Saturn for them to push.
And that's kind of the reason why Sonic failed. I mean, the Saturn Sonic failed. Sorry, correction. The Saturn failed. There was no killer app. It launched without a killer app, and it was out for 6 months. No one knew about it. And what it had another 32-bit system, the 32X, the cartridge-based system, competing with it. It was just a bad strategy. So it's like they can't shit on the games. You
don't like Knuckles Chaotix, and you don't like Sonic 3D Blast.
Look, they had Look, don't even stop there. They had Spider-Man. They had Spider-Man
32X, yeah.
And it was much better than the one for Genesis. It's like it was a longer game, but it was like you can't have a cartridge-based 32-bit system and a CD-based 32-bit system. And which ones are people supposed to get?
Sega's not known for doing the right choice. They did a lot of bad choices, and this is why
hardware choices bad one. They were hardware.
That's why they ended up where they were. They did too much. They thought too much, and they did too much.
Remember the 3D glasses with a great missile defense or missile command or whatever that was?
Yeah, on Master
With the glasses.
Yeah.
They started that. Yeah, they started the 3D
Space
glasses.
Harrier 3D. Yeah, and yeah, don't even talk about it. It was too much money. It was too much money, and there was too little games for it. They had so many different controllers. The sports action ball thing, like it was too much. Too much for nothing.
It's just a lot of great ideas. Great that they're out of hardware. Invest in their IPs. That's what they need to do.
Did you see on the Genesis Mini when you can buy that little extra part that wasn't real? Like you can buy the 3DX part, the Sega CD part, and
that's awesome.
Sonic and Knuckles cart.
Yeah,
you can put it all. You can put it all on top of it. And
that's awesome.
It's fake, but it doesn't work. But it's
which showed you just how it would be if you bought it for real. It'd be useless. You just stack it on top.
I remember that. It's like Sega had so many stupid ideas, you know. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles was dope. That was.
But
awesome.
you know why they did that? Because they ran out of time. No, they ran out of time to make Sonic 3.
It was originally supposed to be that. It was originally supposed to be that, but they
bought it out for Christmas, and then they
Yep.
bought the second part out after Christmas.
Yep.
That's not because they wanted to do that. So,
did you know, guys, that we almost had Panzer Dragoon on the 3DS?
What? Really?
No. Yeah, it was. We found out recently in this interview with Wildman, the creator of Panzer Dragoon VR, and he was with the CEO of M2. You know M2?
Yes. M2. Yes. Emulation Masters.
Yeah, they know each other, and that's how Wildman was introduced to Sega. And in this interview, they mentioned that M2 almost did a Panzer Dragoon game for the 3DS. Yeah.
Wow. They did a couple of 3D games for the 3DS.
M2?
They had that Streets of Rage in 3D, I believe, and something else. A couple of games on 3D on the 3DS. Yeah.
Oh, they had Outrun. Outrun was on the 3DS,
was on there?
and that was really good.
They did good with all of those. So if Panzer was going to be part of that collection, that would have been
60
crazy.
frames. 60 frames for Outrun on the 3DS.
They might have done a great job on there.
M2
I mean, the resolution is very low on a 3DS, so I'm kind of glad it's not on there. Plus, you can't really see. If you play this in portable on the Switch, it's very hard to see those enemies sometimes that are way in the back. So imagine that on a tinier screen. But it's interesting. Interesting to see if it would have been in 3D. That would have been
cool. They had Kid Icarus Uprising. You know, that's a similar Panzer Dragoon play. You know, with the flight scenes and
that needs to come out.
But
needs to come out too.
With Kid Icarus, you don't look in back of you and whatever during the flight scenes. It's just Space Harrier, like just straight ahead of you. You know, awesome game though. Awesome game.
But how else would you want to see Panzer Dragoon other than open world? Where else can they go with it?
I like to see that strategy role playing game you were talking about.
Like you would.
I love strategy role playing games, man. If they could make that, I don't know how they would do it, but
Probably more
like Valkyria. Probably like Valkyria Chronicles. Like
I think you would lose the dragon. You would still have the lore and the the environment that you know and that you are familiar with, but you could probably not have the dragon. I mean, maybe like a unique appearance but not all the time because I don't know.
Maybe an army of dragons.
That's the problem. If you have an army of dragons, the dragon becomes not unique, So it's just a tool or a puppet, So that's my problem with that. The dragon is unique. There is only one, and
Oh yeah,
that's true. It's got.
Probably why it didn't happen. It's probably why they said no, don't do it. Because what are they gonna do?
That's it.
I wanted to ask you about the fake artworks that we've had from for the so-called Azal Resurrection. Did you see those?
The fake
seen
ones.
them around on Twitter. Yeah,
I've seen some. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Hey,
they're drawn well.
yeah. I thought they were drawn well. You don't want to see that artwork. You don't want that to make it into the remake though. If they remake it in that style, right?
Sorry?
Like, do you like the style of it? Like, I don't know if I haven't seen anything that I thought would be like, oh, they should use this for the artwork for the next game. It's like, I don't know.
If it's not in
for Saga Remake, what I've seen seems really good. I don't know if we've seen the same thing, to be honest with you, but let me show you. You want me to show you a little bit?
Yeah, if you got something that you could pull up, let me see the stuff the stuff that I peeked to look at. I didn't think I was too impressed by what I saw. It's like maybe you've seen some more updated stuff.
Let me show you what I've.
Oh wow!
I should have prepared that.
Now this is fan artwork. You said, right?
Yeah, it's fun, but it's a level of quality that is probably telling us that it's not an amateur. It's probably a professional, I think.
Oh, really? Oh, then I probably haven't seen it. What I saw was not professional.
Yeah, that's why I want to show you.
Yep, I've seen them.
Have you seen those concepts?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no. That looks awesome though.
If you've played Saga, you know that this is quite respectful of the original.
Yep.
And it's quite modern at the same time. So
yeah, it looks cooler. Yeah,
it looks exactly like the stuff that they had at the end of the remake. Those drawings they had.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Oh, look at that. That looks like, yeah.
I think it looks really good for, I mean, it's not official, obviously, but it looks really good for a fun work, you know, so.
Oh, no, that's awesome. Yeah, no, these I haven't seen. Those look freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
I like it.
Azelle, that is the agility class. The other one was the assault class. Yeah, there was like, yes, agility. I forgot the names of them, but there they go. That looks awesome.
Yeah, there's a Valiant wing.
I think especially this one, I think is really respectful of the
defense. Nice.
Of the original. Let me show you what I did. I did a side-by-side comparison. So this is the. Then how can I do that?
Listen, if those don't make it in the gallery of the remake, those need to be on it.
There goes the original. Look at that side by side.
Yeah,
I feel sorry for the audio listeners. The exclusive audio listeners won't get to feast their eyes on this comparison. This is crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, these I haven't seen. I saw some nasty artwork. I saw some nasty, especially with Azelle got that tail going down the back. So if you draw her bad, it just makes the tail thing look uglier. But that looks awesome. Yeah, that looks great. I would love to see that.
That needs to be in a gallery on a remake.
When I see that, it gets me. You know, initially we were not sure if it was if there was 5% chance it was legit, but obviously because there was some code there was a coded text in those artworks, and one of the fans of the community managed to break that code. Mm-hmm. And the wording seems to lead us to believe that this is the work of a fan. It was really nice.
He's got that much time. They're gonna use all that time to make that look that good.
Exactly. My point was exactly that. What kind of person would spend so much time doing some fake artworks? And because it's probably not an amateur. Based on what I've seen.
Didn't look like it.
It looked really good. So if he's a professional, why would he spend so much time? I would like him to join the podcast to explain what he's doing here.
No, that's a great idea, right?
Episode 4.
Some people thought that it might have been a rejected pitch from a studio, and because it's been rejected, maybe now they are putting it online.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I would love to see that though. That would be awesome. That looks incredible. Yeah. It's got to find its way into a game.
Now you got us excited.
Yeah, right? Telling you. The saga is not off the table for a remake. I'm sure if these first two sell well, the first one sold beyond expectations, someone's going to do something.
The saga continues.
The saga continues for Panzer Dragoon Saga.
Exactly.
Yeah, Stikz needs to play Saga at some point.
Yeah, he's got. I own it still. Stikz, just dig out the Saturn. I got that in the freaking attic. Dig it out.
Man, you better hope that still works.
It's like dig out the Saturn. Dig out. I still got the games, and
if I find Saga, I'm gonna sell it.
You're right. You better cut me in on it.
You can never get rid of that. That's like that's like video game history right there.
Yes, I can't get rid of Saga ever. It's like 4 discs, man. 4 discs.
I'm still kind of mad I stole my Earthbound.
Ooh,
that was one of those titles I was like that. But it doesn't matter. You can play that everywhere. You can't play Saga everywhere. So
yeah, that's true.
So the second it comes out digitally, it's gonna be worth like $20. So you better sell it now. And then just get the digital one. You got the ISO.
If there's an announcement that's coming out digitally, I'll sell.
Too late
before that happens.
After that.
Nah, someone will take it. Sega Saturn, that's you can $600 probably get a cool grand out of that.
Yeah, it's
cool grand.
It's
hopefully someone does something with Saga.
Yeah, I hope so. The game deserves it deserves it. So
listen, Sega needs to take their biggest titles and actually do something with it.
Yep.
Shining Force, Phantasy Star, and Panzer Dragoon. Sega, get behind it with a budget. Do those 3 games the right way. Not no Phantasy Star Online. Like, do the real games that people want to see. These role-playing games that people are begging for. These strategy games. I mean, you see Fire Emblem doing crazy, and you're not thinking about your own title. That's
Dude,
better.
Check out the Dragon Quest series, man.
They're still doing it.
Their battle system it's an old school battle system. We're talking Phantasy Star 1 days, man. It's
and
like
they're still doing it.
If Dragon Quest, check it out, and you just made a great point. If Dragon Quest can sell, a traditional Phantasy Star can sell. If if Fire Emblem sells like hotcakes now, there's no reason why a Shining Force, a strategy Shining Force, can't sell right now. I don't understand what's Sega's problem. They're afraid of taking risk. It's like, Sammy, what is it? They do the pachinko machines or whatever?
Probably. That's how they get the money. Put that money towards the games. Put that money that they make there towards the game.
I'll give Sammy credit. They have an awesome Fist of the North Star pachinko machine. It takes the models from Fist of the North Star Ken's Rage, and it's pretty awesome. I would play the pachinko machine if they have it in Vegas. But stop putting all your money in the pachinko machines. Put it back into some Sega IP.
Exactly.
That's what they need to do with that.
Until then, they'll have a pachinko Panzer Dragoon coming up next holiday. That's
that's
what that art. What if the art was from that? Oh my god!
A Panzer Dragoon Saga pachinko game.
How mad would you be if those models are on the machine? And you'd be like, "Holy crap!"
It would be a way to kill it forever.
They love their pachinko machines, man. I swear, they really love those.
Listen, like I said, I only hope that these titles being re-released makes it happen.
So, guys, you seem to be, wanting some other game to come back, like Shining Force, or you mentioned Jet Set Radio, I think. What do you expect from Sega? And if we open up the discussion, what other modern game are you expecting this year?
Well, Jet Set was rumored, so I got to start there.
Yeah.
Jet Grind, Jet Set, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I mean, about that, I was a huge fan of Jet Grind Radio, but not so much a big fan of Jet Set or Jet Grind. Is it Jet Set or Jet Grind Radio Future?
All right, Jet Grind Radio is the first one. Jet Set Radio Future was the sequel to Xbox. Yeah.
They named it the right way on the sequel. So Jet Set Radio Future, I wasn't a huge fan of because they opened it up too much. Like, certain games are better condensed and more linear. And certain games aren't as good open world. So making that larger and like not as focused made it kind of bad to me. I didn't want to play.
They took out the timing for the graffiti.
Exactly. They took out a lot of the gameplay elements. Yeah. So if they're doing it, if they're going to make it that way, I don't really want it. But if they're just going to remake the first one again, I mean, they already did a remaster of that. So I don't really need that again unless they figure out how to make a new one, but make it as fun as the first one.
Yeah. And music's going to be important to that.
Definitely.
The music's definitely important to that. Trying to figure out a game this year that I'm excited about. Last of Us Part 2 is going to come out this year, right?
That ain't
June. He said, but it's like Olivier mentioned. Any game that I'm looking forward to this.
That's like Zelda. In 2 weeks, like in a month, I think.
Yeah, that Last of Us Part 2 is going to be pretty good. Any other game this year that I'm excited? A lot of games came out this year already.
Our biggest hype was like Streets of Rage 4. That was our biggest hype.
That was one of the biggest. Yeah, that was probably the biggest this year I was waiting for. And now we got the next gen systems on the horizon.
Yep.
I am amped for whenever that comes out. Breath of the Wild 2. Zelda, that's going to be crazy.
It's happening.
Whenever that comes out. Sega supposedly has an announcement to make about Sega soon. About Sonic. Sonic, yeah. Did I say Sonic has an announcement about Sega? Sega has an announcement about Sonic coming soon. I want them to make I don't know what I want next because Sonic Mania was awesome, but I like 3D. I like Sonic Team a lot.
I want a Generations 2. Give me a Generations 2 because that's both.
Oh, that was the 3D stages in that were great, right?
Yeah.
It was like, why don't they make a 3D Sonic like the stages in Generations, man?
Give me a 2D and a 3D. So I shut everyone up.
It's like I like 3D Sonic when it's focused on the running action going straight like that. I like the incorporation of Knuckles and Tails. That's why I like Sonic Team as a really great focus.
There's rumors of an Adventure 2 or 3.
But I wish they could bring multiplayer back into it in a way. I know it's tough for 3D, but I'd like to see multiplayer brought back into the Sonic series. That'd be great. And I'd love to see, and again, if Zelda Breath of the Wild is selling, why can't they make an open world Beyond Oasis? It's
I'm not thinking about that Beyond Oasis at all. You know that.
Sega's got answers to all these trends and games that are selling right now. It's like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
They still got Golden Axe.
Yeah, man. It's like and look, I would like to see a 3D Streets of Rage too. They mastered a 2D with Streets of Rage 4. It was an excellent revival, but they can do what they did 2D, 3D.
I don't think so. But I don't think so.
You don't have to be behind the back. You could be overhead a little bit. You could be.
Fighting Force was not good. Fighting Force 1 and 2 were not good at all. So I can't see that until they prove me wrong. Prove me wrong.
Who said Fighting Force is not good? But a golden, or maybe do the 3D with Golden Axe. Make a 3D multiplayer Golden Axe.
Do you remember playing the Sega Ages Golden Axe?
No, that was terrible.
Don't know about that either. Yeah, exactly.
Terrible.
Give me Streets of Rage 4, but Golden Axe. I'll be happy.
The graphics were just like, why remake a 2D game for the PlayStation of all freaking? Sorry, it was PlayStation 2 with PlayStation graphics.
Yep,
terrible.
That Sega Ages was not a good thing. Sega Ages,
I
was excited for it, and it was not a good thing.
I guess it was an improvement for Fist of North Star.
Yeah, the original Black Belt. Yes.
The original Black Belt. That was a better game after they remade it, but I don't.
Still, it skimped out. It was like a budget title, though. It wasn't.
It was a budget title.
Something about it wasn't real.
Yeah, it was just like, and it just wasn't that much better.
How do you mess up Outrun? You made a fat car. Like the car was too big. How do you mess up Outrun?
I remember that.
I would, make a new one. Make new ones of these things. All these things can be polished up to be new. Like all those titles. Alex Kidd, I can't see that being new. But
you can only play a new Alex Kidd.
Paper, Scissors, Rock isn't going to sell your game right now. Like Junkin is not going to do it. So I don't know how they can do that one. Unless you made it like a Mario 64 now.
You could do that.
Ancient though. I wouldn't even bother with that.
Yeah, it's Alex Kidd might be tough. It's possible, but it's a challenge. It's a challenge.
Yeah, give me new stuff. Like I said, Sega is weird. Sega's new stuff is nothing like their old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Although I can't say they're bad. Like Valkyria Chronicles is an amazing franchise.
That's a newer franchise, but it's a great Sega franchise.
But it's nothing like anything they've ever made.
I'll tell you though, I'm excited to play. It's already out. I'm excited to play Shenmue 3. It's on my backlog.
I don't know why you're excited to play.
Oh man, I love the Shenmue games, man.
You have to be a Shenmue fan to appreciate that.
And I was not a Sega fan. Man.
I was not a Shenmue fan.
No, you weren't.
No,
you weren't.
There's no one here right now. There's no one here right now. There's no one here. All right. This open world is very closed. So, and the voice act. But like I said, if you're a fan, that's an acquired taste.
It has a charm to it.
If you like Shenmue, you'll love Shenmue 3. But I was watching some of that. Even as a fan, there's stuff in that game that they broke. Like the fighting in that is broken.
Really?
Maybe the updates. Maybe Sega just needs updates. Maybe the updates will fix that too.
But again, it's not a Sega game.
No, it's just the property. It's just the property.
Yep.
So that's why. But Sega, when they have their hands behind something, like they can polish it to death.
Yeah.
They can get great voice acting. They can put money behind stuff. But it's just finding that Sega now is the problem. Where is that Sega right now? What else do they have? Like I said, hopefully they have these announcements with the Sonic stuff, and hopefully Sega in general has an announcement because they had in Japan, they got their new slogan that they're the commercial guy is back. From the old school, like the son of him is back, and they're doing some promos with that guy. Like,
what's his name? Segashiro or whatever.
I think so.
Is
That's Japanese, man. But I mean, they got that going for them. At least they're trying to do some type of marketing. So maybe some bit of Sega from old is still around. I don't know. They're the sons of whoever they are. I don't know what they're doing right now, though.
Yeah.
So I just hope they have something to say. I mean, the Summer Game Fest. Hopefully there's some announcements in there, because they did allude to, like, Ben in the interview did allude to other Sega games that people were interested in bringing out. Not so much, Forever Entertainment, but other companies. He said that they did have some announcements to make for old school Sega games.
Oh, so Stikz, check it out. Golden Axe should come back like Diablo.
I guess. Yeah, I mean, that sells, right? If you want to make money.
Multiplayer, still hack and slash, more loot.
There is a rumor of this Diablo 2 remaster.
Yeah, that seems to be happening. I remember I spent a whole day.
Give me Diablo 2 and 1 on the Switch, please.
You like them better than Part 3, though? Part 3 is great, and that's on the Switch.
I like Diablo 3, but I've played so much of it on PC that I played a little bit on Switch, but it's just that the art style is a bit different in 3.
I see.
It's a little bit more cartoony, like World of Warcraft and stuff like that.
Yep.
I prefer it darker. Like, I mean, I've played the 3 games anyway. I've played so many hours in both games, but
2 was dark. I remember 2 very vividly. It was dark.
But, yeah.
It was a demon.
Great series, though. Great series.
Yeah.
But the games I'm most excited for this year is Ghost of Tsushima, and it's not a Sega game, but
no, it looks good. It looks like Way of the Samurai, and like, I mean, they showed like 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole thing because I didn't need it to be ruined. Like, I mean, I'm excited about it. I don't need to be sold on it more. So I'm like, all right, it's coming. Just tell me the date. I don't need a whole 20 minutes. I mean, I did watch highlights of some of the fighting. Great. It looks great. It looks like a next generation game. These titles that are coming out right now look like next generation titles. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima. Like, all these games look like they belong on the next generation of systems. And then when I saw, if you remember seeing the thing they just showed last week with the engine,
the tech demo thing.
Yeah, when they showed the 5th version of Unreal.
Unreal 5.
That showed me that I was completely wrong about these games looking like next generation, because that looked phenomenal, and that's not even showing you what the next gen looks like, because the TVs don't run at the resolution that they're running at, like, the frame, like 120 hertz and stuff like that.
You need to watch this tech demo in 4K on our proper 4K.
Oh yeah,
it's incredible.
Oh yeah,
wow.
What I'm saying, once you actually get these systems and what they do that they can't show you on YouTube, that's when you get to next generation. And the fact that they look this good on YouTube is like, come on. When you see them on their regular TV without being condensed to death, and like they're showing you stuff there, they're like, this looks like this, and you're like, that's muddy, that's whatever, because they put it online. Wait to actually see this from the systems, from that hard drive, as fast as they're processing this stuff. All these games that you think look phenomenal now, you're gonna be like, I can't wait to see the next gen versions of these games, because it looks that much different.
Yeah.
You know when this character jumped from the cliff when he died? My mouth was like, thought of Panzer Dragoon, a modern Panzer Dragoon with your drums flying like that.
Imagine.
Yes.
Imagine.
Going down like that, like there's no pauses. It was phenomenal. Like, you could see where, so far off in the distance, it was insane. And the fact that they got there in less than a minute was like, how? How is that possible? That's something you can't do right now.
Right.
So they can show you a mountain, like in Zelda, like, I can go there. That mountain's way down there. I can get there. Next week. Like, you can't get there in 2 minutes. Like, that's crazy.
Like, next week.
Yeah. Just the fact that it opens the world up that big, just to be able to do something like that on a whim.
Yeah.
The creators can do whatever the heck they want now. They
crazy.
Still did that wall walk. I don't know why they put that in there. You know, when they're loading the game and you got to go in the middle of a wall and it zooms up to you. I don't know why they put that in there because they said that's not going to happen in the new generation of systems. So
yeah, I noticed that. That's the reason why they do that to load.
Yes,
It's a loading thing. Wow.
Yes. But they said because of the hard drive, they don't have to do things like that anymore. But they put it in the damn thing. So I don't know why they did it, other than to show how close they can get to the subject and keep it looking good.
Yeah.
But I would have skipped that part and put it out of there. But the amount of detail that they had on those statues and stuff like that has me very, very excited about these new systems. But how fast can you make it? That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how fast can you make these games looking the way they do? Am I going to be looking at, okay, one game for the next 7 years? Is that what you can do? Like, it's going to take you 7 years to make this next game? Like, if they made a Resident Evil, there's going to be Resident Evil 8 and that's it? They can't make another game because it's too hard to make? Like, are these games becoming too hard to make? But who knows, man?
It depends, if they have this engine that is like a toolbox, maybe it's to make it easier for them to make the game, They can focus on the creativity and use the tools to make it faster. I don't know.
True. Because if they make it the same exact way they do now, time-wise, but it shows it looking at that good, because they already have the resolution and stuff in already. It's just a number. It's just a numbers thing at that point. So,
it definitely stresses the need for a more efficient toolkit, to pump these games out.
What they said, going from 4 to 5 is very easy. Very easy.
Good. And the Switch is compatible for Unreal 5 also. So maybe, I guess, I was surprised. I was like,
I ain't gonna see none of that for that.
I'm like, it's compatible, but I'm like, are they gonna port? Like, I forgot what the studio was. They said, we're gonna take on the task to port PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X games to the Switch.
The team that did The Witcher is the closest to doing like that type of port.
Yeah,
and they've done well.
Yeah,
they've done well. They surprised a lot of people with it.
With The Witcher, I'm gonna buy that once it's a little bit cheaper. But I saw that and I was like,
about new stuff all day. So
it could. There's so much to talk about. I was really impressed by this Unreal Engine 5 demo. It was, I think, more exciting than the latest Xbox.
The Microsoft one? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, the thing about that, like I said, you can't show that. You can't show the newer things from these systems on YouTube. And for them to show what they did, it was just a bunch of trailers. And the way that they hyped it up as gameplay got a lot of people mad. But, nitpicky internet is going to be nitpicky internet. So the fact that they weren't agreeing with something because their wording was different, they can't just say, okay, these are trailers. Now people don't like trailers? Like, since when? Why is that?
I get it, but my point was, if you want to talk about next gen, you want to understand and you want to understand what it's going to bring to the table. And I think this Unreal Engine 5 is really showing how fast you can stream assets, because you
did a better job.
Character, how it flies, and you see that it was not possible in this gen. So you just by just showing this demo, you better advertise the next generation, I think.
It was a better representation of what the next generation should be. But the fact that, people were mad at the Microsoft one because it looked like you can do that stuff on the systems now. They were just showing new games. They weren't showing what the new games can do different.
Right.
Not every game has to be, like, at this time, since we don't know the systems yet or anything, it was a bad time to bring out trailers for anything without telling you why you should get the new system. Without having that, if it wasn't Halo, it shouldn't be anything. Like, if you're not pushing it to the limit, showing us what the new systems can do to sell us on it, don't even show us these games right now. Yeah. That was the problem with it. Because, like I said, you can't show the load times. You can't show the minute graphics. Like, people don't care that the wind is blowing a certain way. People don't care that the storm is happening. Like, they don't even realize that's happening. But that is something that you can do on the new generation systems that you can't do on the current systems. Like, you might see a few leaves blowing here and there, but the fact that happened and no one said anything about it just goes to show you that you're portraying these games in a bad way. You didn't tell.
Basically what we've seen in this Xbox conference was pretty much games that could run on my Xbox One X at the moment, I think. So I
And they
was
can.
not really excited by the next generation. If it's only games that could run on my Xbox One X, why would I, jump for the next generation?
Well, the
That's
fact
true.
that they can probably run on your One X anyway is probably the problem. That's why, because they can run on your One X still, because they're going to be able to.
Right. But
like
you got to
I
look
said,
at it also. The Xbox Series X is only supposed to be 2 times more powerful than the Xbox One X, you know?
Yeah,
And
which is a substantial jump.
which is a substantial jump because the Xbox One X is powerful.
It's powerful.
It's like,
and it's only been out for a year. They haven't even used the processor on that, but they're still using the old Xbox One as the bottom of the barrel.
as the default.
So
That's the
you
thing.
can't get past that.
Yep.
So I mean, the fact that it's running like a PC, that you can put, turn on, turn it up to the highest or turn it to the lowest. That's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem. But
exactly.
Running at 120 hertz, running at 240 hertz, running at 120 frames per second. What TVs can show you that? YouTube can't even show you 120 frames per second. So showing these games are going to look like the Xbox right now. They're going to look like,
thing also. It's like
it's going to look the same. So that's why they can't show you what these systems do, because the current technology can't show you what they can do.
Yep.
So they could be like,
now you can still upload videos in 4K, 30 and 60 now. There is a special
4K 60 you can do, yeah. But you can't do 120.
Yeah, sure.
And some of these games are running at 120. Not every
crazy.
TV could even show you that. Not
Could
even
the human
my TV. I don't even know.
120?
Yeah, some TVs can.
You can.
Some OLED.
Some can.
My TV can do it.
You lucky bastard.
I've been lucky, and some new TVs can do it now as well. Yeah.
Some monitors, some TVs, but I don't know if mine can. It might be 60 hertz. I'm not sure, but that sucks. That the new systems are going to require like new technology to see it the correct way. Unless you have it on a lot of people game on their monitors now. My monitor can do 240, I think, something like that, 244, something like that. But I've seen some games run like that on the computer, but I don't play on the computer. I'm a console guy.
Yeah.
So if I want to see it full resolution, I got to play it on there. But I don't have a 4K monitor on here, so my TV's 4K. Whatever, I got to figure it out.
I think also, I guess the reason why some of the, there was backlash to the trailer, the trailers that Microsoft Series X showed, and it's Unreal 5 thing. I think just this generation, people are spoiled with graphics. The games look so great. Like Spider-Man, come on. Yeah. Spider-Man is awesome. Swinging through the city. It looks like a next gen game on the PS4. It's like
a lot of people think they look like next generation until they see next generation.
They're gonna need it's something people are gonna need to see it. They're gonna need to. They're gonna have to have it on their TV. They're gonna have to have it in their console. It's like
there were games they didn't even talk about on that stuff. Like the game that looked like Star Fox. That looked amazing, and I haven't seen a star like flying game like that in years that I was excited about. Not one person in any comment section said anything about it.
They don't make a lot of those games.
No. You see how expansive that looked and how smooth it looked? And not one person said, oh, that looked cool. Not one person even named it. That's why I can't even tell you the name of it. They just said it looked like the same thing. And they didn't even mention the titles that they showed. I was like, you guys don't want to accept the new. That's part of the problem too. They don't want to accept the new generation.
No, they don't.
Their system like 2 years ago, and they just got the Xbox One X or the PlayStation 4 Pro. They don't want to get another system right now. It's been 2 years now. They want another 5 years.
That's it. Also, they want 5 years. They want a longer cycle, and it's just like how we're at the point where it's like how much better are graphics going to really get to make it feel like it's making a difference.
Up from somebody getting their neck slit in Resident Evil until you throw up. That's how far we're gonna do it. So an eyeball pops out, and you're like, I can't play stuff like this anymore. His eye is hanging out. I can't do it. You play VR, and you actually have a heart attack. That's how far it's gonna go.
In Star Wars Fallen Order, right, that I'm currently playing right now, like you can't slice off the limbs of people, but you can do it for creatures and animals, and it'll look sick. And it's just like,
wait until the bone is hanging out of there.
If I start seeing bones hanging out of there with next gen systems, oh my gosh, that's gonna be insane. But it's like, but that game looks. I'm telling you, that's a late in the cycle PS4 game, and it looks phenomenal. You know, it looks
any
like
AAA game that comes out this year, you should see phenomenal. It looks great.
yeah. So it's like I'm sure
since Horizon, like things have been looking phenomenal since Horizon, since Bloodborne. Like, and that was like one of the first games.
Game, yes.
That's one of the first games that like show next gen graphics, and that still looks phenomenal today.
Assassin's Creed Unity is a first gen PS4 game. Still looks beautiful today.
None of those titles are going to look bad.
You can run through France and it looks beautiful. My favorite Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
You know?
And then they remastered it. No, they remastered 3 for the Switch. Yeah. Unity.
It's like they could bring Unity to the Switch too if they wanted to. It's like I think
they probably will.
You know, it's
they
like,
probably will. They'll milk it. They'll bring it. It'll be there.
It's like 3 remaster. I'm like, I don't know how it feels like a remaster, you know, but it's cool that it's on there. I bought it because I wanted to play Liberty, you know, Assassin's Creed Liberty. I didn't finish that for the Xbox Live when they HD'd that one, originally a PS Vita game. But yeah, that's the reason why I bought it, $15.
Well, I'll tell you, one game I'm not looking forward to is another Assassin's Creed. So they actually said Ghost.
What was it? What's it called?
Valhalla, yeah, big deal. It's a Viking. Listen, those games aren't the same. They said the game that's most like Assassin's Creed that's coming out right now is Ghost of Tsushima.
Oh, really?
They said that's mostly like a Assassin's Creed game, which makes me not want it because I'm not an Assassin's Creed fan, but you'll love it.
I love Assassin's Creed when it plays like Assassin's Creed.
I've been asking for like a ninja or like a Japanese Assassin's Creed, so I should probably get this because I've been asking for it, and now they're finally giving it to me, but it's not called Assassin's Creed.
Can't believe they haven't went to Japan yet. You know, they did China with Assassin's Creed Chronicles China.
And Russia. And
they did Russia. They did India. Awesome to the Assassin's Creed games, but they never had a mainline Assassin's Creed game as yet visited China or Japan.
If you like Tenchu, you know what to do. You know what to do.
For real.
Coming out in July.
I want to play Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but I want to kill some Vikings. And I think that's not the game.
No, you got to be the Viking.
I think this Viking looks very arrogant, and I would like to slap some Vikings.
You probably get to kill all the Vikings, right? You probably get to kill all the Vikings in that game. I just hope they have a hood. Like, you know, Assassin's Creed Odyssey didn't really feature the hood too much.
You got a helmet with horns. That's it. That's it.
I'm like, they're making Skyrim here? So it's going on.
Probably.
Crazy.
Imagine that. They're waiting for that for the next gen. They got like another 3 years for Skyrim. Well,
yeah, that's in the works, and I love it when they take their time. There should only be one of those games, one Elder Scrolls a generation.
That's coming. They said they're working on it. It's going to be a ways off though, and you can imagine.
Yeah,
and they haven't mentioned that, and they haven't mentioned Grand Theft, which
it's going to be worth the wait.
Those are one title a generation games,
and they should be because people are going to be playing them forever.
It's been so. Listen, we didn't even get a Grand Theft Auto this generation. That came out for the 360. Do you imagine that came out again?
That's right. It
didn't even happen. They came out with online. GTA Online was considered the game for this generation.
Oh, that's right. It was ported.
Yeah.
It was an enhanced port though, right? They boosted the graphics of it. Yeah. Okay.
And now they're giving away
like first person mode or something.
They're giving away free in Epic on the computer right now.
Wow. One game that few people talk about, and I don't know if you heard about it. It's Grand Blue Fantasy. Really?
The fighting role-playing game.
No,
right?
not this one. This is Versus, I think.
Fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the RPG.
It's an RPG.
Okay. I saw the 2D fighting game based off of it. Yeah. Where they have the elements of RPG in it. It looks like an anime. It looked like Guilty Gear type anime. The one I saw. I haven't the one that if you're talking about the RPG, that's not, they don't make that big over in the US.
Let me show you something. And they I think they have still not announced a release date. Let me show you something.
Yeah, you got a trailer for us. I thought from what I've seen of those characters. It looked pretty dope.
Huh. Oh wow.
They made it like a Dynasty Warriors.
That looks pretty crazy, actually.
So that's your type of game.
Yeah, that looks pretty good. I might have to check that out.
I only see
it's really good. So,
is it multiplayer? Or is that
one
your
of the games I'm really excited to put my hands on, but I don't know what they are doing with it. We still don't have any release date for this one.
That license isn't really huge in the US, but it looks like it's doing very well somewhere.
That looks awesome, actually. I'm gonna. That's an open world. That's pretty crazy. That fighting was insane.
Well, you got someone's attention here. He's definitely gonna want that.
I'm gonna have to check that out. That looks awesome.
Yeah, I haven't played anything like that since 99 Nights, which was dope.
You and 23 Style. I love 99 Nights.
Oh yeah, I love it. Love the music. But that looked insane. There was a lot of stuff going on.
Yep.
But was it open world multiplayer? Or was that your whole like squad and you control each individual? Because it looked like a bunch of stuff, like 4 players. I don't know. But that's art design, graphics look dope on that. I always like the art on that. But I only saw the fighting game.
Yeah, I wonder. I almost wonder if they are going to, delay it on the next gen. I'm not sure, but we shall see.
Bandai will do it.
Yeah, Bamco, yeah.
Yep. Bamco put it on the next gen in seconds. You saw the other game? That looked pretty dope. Of course, it got ridiculed. It's like, oh, it's just another Bloodborne. I was like, man, come on, stop. The games can be new games. Just let it go.
Just another Bloodborne. Yeah, what is that game called? I know what you're talking about.
It looked dope. It looked like it's just another anime game. I'm like, what is that? Another anime game? What kind of there's haters everywhere.
There's a lot of anime games, and they should keep making them as long as they can. I love anime style games. And they're awesome, and they're based on an IP.
They look that clean. They look super clean.
Yes. Anime games.
I like a lot of anime. Let me see, one in my backlog right now is that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. That looks awesome.
Nobody talk about Kakarot. Stop it.
Come on, the game is awesome.
Nobody's talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Stop.
But it's not a fighting game like that. It's like it's not
mediocre.
It's like it's awesome. It's an awesome game. Yes.
When they talk about anime games, they talk like One Piece and like Naruto and all that. Like those are the games that they
Attack on Titan. Yeah, that was those games. The Attack on Titan games are awesome.
They lump all those together though. And they're very similar because they're all on the Dynasty Warriors template.
But they each have their own spin, man. But when they just fire.
But when people say anime game, they base it off something like that, or they base it off of like what's the Jump Force or something like that. They're not really high quality.
Damn.
But there are some. No, there's some great ones. Like the Fist of the North Star one is great.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Those games are good, but they lump all these titles in together like they're trash, no matter what it is. That sucks.
I'll be honest with you. I'm not the type of player who plays anime game. It's really an exception to my rule here.
Oh, really?
But when they do it at that scale, I don't blame you. That look great.
Oh, it's pretty crazy.
Okay, we've talked about many things today, guys. It's been
it's a lot of fun.
Been a pleasure to have you. Thank you for your time.
Anytime, man.
You had other more topics you wanted to conclude on now, but feel free, guys.
Now we can save it for the next time. Yeah, we talked a bunch. We talked your ear off and each other's ear off for a while. This is a lot of fun. So definitely have us on again. We'll definitely join you.
Oh yeah, we got other members. We'll bring them on.
Yep. We'll even have you on the podcast. We'll have you on our podcast too. We could do you can jump on yours, you jump on ours. It's like we'll definitely do this again.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, yeah. Definitely. You wanted to, okay, you already talked about your channel. I will put a link in the description to your channel.
Appreciate that.
And yeah, it was really nice. It was really nice to talk about Panzer Dragoon and to open the discussion to some other games in the end as well.
Game talk is always fun. Always fun.
Absolutely. It's why we do it, right?
You guys know a lot about old games, even more than I do, probably Space Harrier and stuff like that. You know, I'm not an expert in Sega games, but it was nice to hear from you.
We can hit up any generation, damn it.
Yeah, any generation.
Except Atari. I can't mess with Atari. But
Atari.
From anywhere from Nintendo, NES, like from there up, actually from Sega Master System up, we're good.
No, we could do in television too. I think
you could do in television. I can't do it television. You can do it television.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, there's a lot to look forward to, including in television. But yeah, there's tons of stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Amico. Yes, that's something I'm looking forward to coming out in October. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to do. Looking forward to getting that in my living room as well. Yeah, we can talk about Amico.
Got my pre-order already, so
that's going to be cool.
Okay. Well, it was my pleasure to have you on the channel, guys, and looking forward to hear from your channel as well.
Same here. Absolutely.
Hopefully we'll have some Panzer Dragoon announcement soon.
Hopefully soon.
Fingers crossed.
Bring them on.
You know, the fact that we discussed, that we have a podcast about it, that we have guests and people talking about it, I think it's cool for the franchise to keep it, alive and discussed. And
put it in the comments what Panzer Dragoon titles you want to see.
Panzer community is a strong community, die-hard community, man, die-hard fans in that. I when we had Ben Awesome on Forever Entertainment, we saw it's like we're like, wow, we got a great reaction from that podcast. So in video and audio format. So I was kind of blown.
And you guys support very well.
Absolutely,
we're part of that family. So
absolutely, absolutely happy to be a part of it. And it's an honor to be on Panzer Dragoon World Podcast. So that's great. It's great that you're doing this.
It was great to have you guys level 857. I don't know how you pronounce it.
That's it. Right. That's level 857. Yep. Perfect.
It was a pleasure to have you guys. Looking forward to hearing from you, and we should have some more guests in the upcoming episodes as well. So
absolutely.
Stay tuned.
All right.
We'll be listening. We'll be listening too. So it's a great podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah, but like we said, find us on YouTube, Level 857 Games, and on all social media, Level 857 or Level 857 Games.
Yep. Absolutely. And our podcast is also on any podcasting service you listen to, Level 857.
Yep.
Great. That's great. Okay. Well, thank you very much, guys, and stay safe. Take care, and talk to you soon.
Yeah, stay safe out there. Be careful. It's a strange time. Strange time.
Until next time.
Thanks a lot, Olivia. It's a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yep.